All right. Today I'm making smothered chicken and onions. It's a very simple, easy, tasty dish to make. My mother used to make this all the time. And you can also use the same recipe, substitute pork, substitute round steak. Now, if you do the round steak, you're going to have to cook it longer so that it's nice and tender. But let's get started on Darlene's Table. Instead of using a whole chicken, I'm using chicken thighs. I have 8 chicken thighs, and this comes out to about 3.5 pounds. So I have mushrooms, bell pepper, lots of onion, you can see that, chicken stock, salt, pepper, flour, and bay leaves. The first thing I do is brown my mushrooms. So I put a little vegetable oil in there, some salt and pepper. I brown them nicely, and I'm going to remove them to a small bowl. Next, I'm going to put a little more oil in here, and I'm going to brown my chicken. I have 8 chicken thighs, so I'll do about 4 at a time. Don't overcrowd the chicken while you're browning. All right, so now all the chicken is brown. I'm removing it to a plate. First, I'm going to add the butter. And we're going to start with the onions next. I have 8 cups of the onions. Just cut them in slices and then cut that in half. And of course, this is going to cook down a lot. I'm salt and peppering. Now, the salt helps to bring out the moisture in the onions. So once these are nicely brown, and they are, we're going to add the cup of bell pepper. I used the red and the yellow. I love color in my dishes. And I'm going to put the mushrooms back in. Give this a good stir. Let it cook for just a minute or two. Now I'm going to sprinkle lightly with flour. 3 tablespoons of flour, and I added the bay leaves. Stir this good and let that flour cook. A few minutes. Now I'm going to add the chicken back in. Be sure to add the juices from the plate back into the pot. Now I've got all the chicken in, and I'm adding 2 cups of chicken stock. That's the unsalted chicken stock. Now the lid back on, and this is going to cook until the chicken is tender. Cook for about an hour. You're going to reduce the heat to low, 45 minutes to an hour. When that's done, I'm going to fold in the parsley. And this is ready to eat. And colorful, isn't it pretty? Smothered chicken and onions. This is a recipe that's very, very similar to the way my mother would make it for us. I paired this dish with mashed potatoes and the gravy from the dish. The chicken just falls off the bone, and the flavor is rich and sweet, which of course comes from that pile of onions which melted away and it was absorbed by the chicken. The mushrooms, well, they just add a lot of flavor and texture. Now, my mother didn't add bell peppers, but for me, I love the flavor and the color as well. I would highly recommend using the sweeter peppers like the red and yellow bell peppers. It's also a very easy meal that is quickly prepared, which is a real bonus. It is a well-crafted, tried-and-true recipe I'm sure you will love, and I hope you will make this for your family soon. Let me know in the comments what you think. So go to darlenestable.com, find the recipe with all the ingredients, and you can make this for yourself. I'll put a direct link to it in the video description and also in the comments section. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if so, like and consider subscribing. That way you can keep up with what is going on right here on Darlene's Table.